Edgar Wright has made quite a name for himself over the years in the film community. He has the Cornetto trilogy, Last Night in Soho, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. While I enjoy most of his work, hands down my favorite film of his is Baby Driver. When I went to go see this film in 2017 theaters, I didn't have the highest hopes in the world, as action films usually aren't my favorite. But when I walked out of that theater, I know I just witnessed one of my all-time favorite movies. The amount of craft that went into constructing an entire action movie around the idea of music without letting any other part of the film fail was amazing. Every single time I rewatch it, I'm amazed at the new music references I pick up and the well-crafted chase scenes. Let's take a look at it. The movie follows Baby, a young man who started stealing cars as a hobby after both of his parents passed away in an awful car accident. He ends up stealing the car of a crime boss and gets caught. Baby is then forced to be a getaway driver for many high-profile criminals to pay back for what he did. As the contract starts to come to an end, Baby is forced with the decision to keep driving or run away with his new girlfriend, Deborah. While that may sound like a run-of-the-mill action plot, the one thing that really adds flair to this film is Baby's love of music. We learn Baby has tinnitus, a ringing in his ears from the crash he and his parents were involved in. Because his ears are constantly ringing, he uses music not only to drown out the ringing, but also the intrusive thoughts of his parents and their rocky relationship. Edgar Wright didn't just write Baby as a music lover though. He wrote him with the idea that the music is Baby. Baby has a super hard time expressing himself and conveying how he truly feels. So we are able to see how listening and creating music is the safe haven that Baby revolves his world around. When there is no music, there is no Baby. While there are many scenes where we can talk about the importance music plays in this movie, two scenes stand out to me the most. The first probably being the most well-known scene in the movie, the opening sequence. Before we are even shown any characters, we get to see an old iPod start playing Bell Bottoms by the John Spencer Blues Explosion. As soon as the music starts, we are introduced to our first heist crew to the beat of the music. As soon as the crew enters the bank, we hear the vocals kick in and Baby starts using a water bottle as a microphone, syncing his wipers to the music, beating on the dash like drums, and even the music matching up with the alarms going off inside of the building. The only time the music takes a back seat in the scene is when Baby sees the crew through the window pointing their guns at people. This is because Baby doesn't like the idea of using weapons during any of the heists, which we learn later in the film. I wish I could play a clip of this sequence in the video, but YouTube would most definitely hit me with a copyright takedown. So please, pause the video and go watch the opening scene with audio if you want to experience it for yourself. The rest of the scene is a masterfully crafted car chase scene where the music remains the same volume as the environment around the vehicle. I always took this as symbolism that Baby is just in tune with the car he is driving as he is with the music that is continuing to blast through his earbuds. The music and the road must coexist for Baby to do his job properly, and we get to feel and hear what it is like to be Baby when he is in the zone. This is truly one of the best opening scenes in any action movie, and it still pumps my body full of adrenaline every time I rewatch it. The second scene where music plays a big factor is when the group of criminals ransack Baby's apartment and bring back all of his handcrafted cassette tapes from the debriefing of missions. While there are numerous other scenes where I could point out Baby's love of music, I think this one is really great because it also shows how he uses music to cope with the struggles in his life. Baby doesn't like the idea of all the crimes he is taking part in, so the fact he can take a few lines from each one he has been a part of and turn into a short soundbite allows him to find some peace in what he is doing. He is drowning out the bleakness of the conversations and turning them into an upbeat bop he can use to tell himself that what he is doing isn't that wrong. This scene is also where we can fully grasp how much the mix titled Mom means to him. It is the only surviving piece of audio he has of his late mother, and he will stop at nothing to make sure he is able to protect it. His mother played such a pivotal role in his life, losing that last connection to her would be just as bad as Baby never being able to listen to music again. This is also a scene that I feel is very easy to relate to because we all have someone in our life we wish we could talk to one last time and hear their voice. While having something like pictures is wonderful, they still can't replicate the soothing sound of their voice and the many conversations had with that person. There is something so magical about this movie with how Edgar Wright and the film crew were able to capture so much craft and emotion through music. While music has been an emotional experience for hundreds of years, it being intertwined perfectly with film made me respect how much more powerful both forms of media can be when combined flawlessly. On top of all the wonderful music motifs and references, the action scenes are masterfully crafted. My personal favorite is the bank robbery where we are introduced to Jamie Foxx's character Bats. Even though there are many quick cuts throughout the chase scene, never once do I feel shaky cam was overused. When the citizen in the truck attempts to shoot into their avalanche, Baby starts wall riding the truck through the parking lot. Extended shots of the truck at an angle really allow us to immerse ourselves in the action. We'll also appreciate all of the crazy stunt work that must have gone into making this film. Then we get to see one of my favorite moments of the film, when the pursuing truck does a pit maneuver on Baby and traps the front end of their vehicle under a semi. The shot of the semi driving with the front end of the truck smashed under the trailer and the other truck pushing on the bed is such an amazing shot. It's one thing to have crazy car chase scenes like this throughout a city, but when more interesting ideas are introduced, it makes the film that much more thrilling. While this is just one scene, there seems to be a crazy moment in every single driving scene in this movie. Whether that be the car switch under the bridge in the opening, or the SUV being shoved off the parking garage, Baby Driver never lets off the throttle or holds back for its entire 2-hour runtime. I think the last thing that really pushes Baby Driver over the edge for me and makes it a perfect film is the array of side characters that show up throughout. I feel another common trope with action movies is that all of the characters are just plot devices or targets for our main protagonist. In Baby Driver, every single character that we meet has at least some form of depth to them, and they all have a smidge of likeness about them, even if they are super evil. My personal favorite secondary character is played by Jamie Foxx, who is actually probably shown as the most evil on screen in this movie, even if Kevin Spacey's character is made out to be much worse. But on top of being just an evil person, he's written to have this type of banter that you're pretty much forced to chuckle at because Fox delivers it perfectly in such a smart-ass type of way.
What the fuck is this man?
Austin Powers.
Speaking of Kevin Spacey though, he may be an awful person in real life, but I have to say, Doc may be my favorite performance he has ever given. He is another character that is so inherently evil, it is scary when he appears on screen. He has a few moments like Jamie Foxx does, but the implied amount of power he has makes us feel like we never know what he may try to pull on Baby, Deborah, or his team. Doc also has this character arc that I absolutely love. Throughout the entire film, we see Doc praise Baby and show he is one of his favorite people to work with. But for the amount of praise he gives Baby, he will threaten him the second he feels Baby is trying to sneak away from the criminal lifestyle. That all turns on its head though when Baby comes back to the warehouse after the failed final mission. Doc sees a younger version of himself in the desperate Baby and Deborah and tries to help them escape before ultimately sacrificing himself to give Baby a fighting chance against Buddy. A villain that remains evil but has a soft spot is one of my favorite tropes in movies, so I may be a bit biased when speaking about Spacey's character, but I think this is a performance many people can get behind.
Well, there is some good news. The good news is you like driving, because you can't take your foot off the gas for the next 25 years.
Baby Driver is a film that obviously contains a load of villainous characters given the heist crew aspect of the film, but Edgar Wright was able to write each to have their own flair, so there's always something for the audience to enjoy, but not idolize or root for. Evil characters in movies are something that needs to be balanced super well for me. If they are too evil, it can make the film hard to watch, but if they have too much of a positive arc, it just feels fake as well. Wright was able to balance many scummy characters, but make them fun and interesting enough to always leave me wanting more of them throughout the runtime. This is truly a film that has one of my all-time favorite array of characters, good and bad. It may not be the most popular opinion in the world, but Baby Driver is my favorite Edgar Wright film. It takes a very simple action premise, but adds flares of beautiful cinematography, music motifs, and well-rounded characters. It is a heart-pounding film from beginning to end. There is really no movie to compare it to, and it is a movie that benefits from multiple rewatches due to the immense amount of craft that went to every aspect of this film. It's a movie that leaves you with a hum in your drum and craving more as the credits roll. I want to thank you for checking out my review of Baby Driver. What are your thoughts on Baby Driver? What are your thoughts on some of Edgar Wright's other films? Let me know in the comments down below, and while you're down there, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way in helping me out. Thank you, and have a good one, everybody.